Okay, good afternoon students. And so in this video, I'm going to go over nouns. So what is a noun? A noun is a person, place, or thing. And that there are many different kinds of nouns. Nouns tend to be used as subjects and objects in a sentence. Nouns are used in clauses as there are noun clauses, and also there are many different kinds of nouns, such as a common noun, a proper noun, plural noun, and then pronouns. And so this chapter 7, we're going to go over the common noun. So what is a noun and how is a noun used in English? So let us get to, here we go, Betty Azar, and let's learn about nouns. So you got regular nouns, possessive nouns, using nouns as modifiers, count and non-count nouns, some common non-count nouns, basic article usage, general guidelines for how to use the and the difference between a few and few, the difference between little and a little, and of course singular expressions of quantity, one, each, and every. So there are many different ways of creating plural nouns. So it's the first kind of noun that we're going to use. So the plural version of child is children, zero is zeros, mouse, mice, monkey, monkeys, industries with an IES, woman, women, fox, foxes with an ES, goose, geese, sheep, sheep, series, series, belief, beliefs with an S, leave, leaves, VES, self, selves with an SELVES, echoes with an ES, photos without an E, photos with an ES, analysis, analyses with an ES, hypotheses, hypotheses with an ES, curriculum becomes curriculi, phenomenon, phenomenon, stimulus, stimuli, offspring, offspring, bacterium, bacteria. So those are irregular. So regular and irregular plural nouns. Regular plural nouns, you just add an S. But some irregular, when it ends in X, you have ES, babies, IES. So final ES is added to nouns that end in SH, CH, S, Z, and X. The nouns that have irregular plural nouns do not end in S. So here are all the irregular plural nouns, such as man, men, woman, women, child, children, ox, oxen, foot, feet, goose, geese, tooth, teeth, mouse, mice, louse, lice, echoes with an ES, heroes with an ES. So some nouns that end in zero, or end in O, sorry, not zero, that end in O, you add an ES to form the plural. Some nouns that end in O, you add only S to form the plural. Autos, ghettos, kangaroos, kilos, memos, photos, pianos, radios, solos, sopranos, studios, tattoos, videos, zoos. And some nouns that end in O, you add an ES. So there's no particular reason why some nouns that end in O, you have just an S, and some nouns that end in O end in ES. It's just very irregular. And so you have mementos, mosquitoes, tornadoes, volcanoes, zeros. And then calf, if it ends in F, okay, it tends to be VES. So there's a little bit, that's a little bit more regular. Well, in other words, it follows the rule that if it ends in F, it's a VES. Not like O, where you have some that ends in ES and some that has an S. So calf becomes calves, half becomes halves, knife becomes knives, leaf becomes leaves, life becomes lives, loaf, loaves, self, selves, shelf, shelves, thief, thieves, wolf, wolves, scarf, scarves. And then if it ends in IEF, then it becomes beliefs and chiefs and cliffs and roofs. One deer, two deer, one fish, two fish, one series, two series, and then here are a whole bunch of other. So some nouns that English has borrowed from other languages have foreign plurals that you just simply have to memorize. And so here, the baby got two new teeth. The farmer loaded his cart with boxes of fresh vegetables. His cart was pulled by 2 oxen. So you just have to remember, Alice saw some mice running across the floor. So basically I tell my students, the more you read books, the more you're going to come across vocabulary, all kinds of grammar. So the more you read, the more you'll know this kind of basic grammar. That's all I can say, So bacterium becomes bacteria. I actually had to guess that one. And so viruses, because I don't read that much scientific stuff, being an English major. Possessive nouns. So a possessive noun shows possession, such as the teacher's pen, the teacher's hand. So that's my hand. The teacher's hat. So we always use apostrophe S to show possession. And so here, the girls, Tom's, my wife's, a lady's, Thomas. Now, if it ends in S, if the name ends in S, you can put an apostrophe after the S. Girls, wives, ladies, men's, and children's. So the boy's hat is red. So you would write B-O-Y apostrophe S. Here you write B-O-Y-S apostrophe. The children's toys, apostrophe S, are all over the floor. I fixed the child's bicycle. So you get the idea how to do this exercise. So let's see. Using nouns as modifiers. The soup has vegetables in it. It is vegetable soup. So here you have a noun used as an adjective. It is an office building. And once again, office modifies building, and here you have a noun used as a modifier or as an adjective. It was a 2-hour test. She has a 5-year-old son. So if the age of the son or the age of the person comes before the noun, then you have to put apostrophes, hyphens, 5-year-old. So hyphen, hyphen, hyphen. So when a noun is used as a modifier and is combined with a number expression, the noun is singular and a hyphen is used. So she has a 5-year-old son. You can't write it like that. And also, you can't say 5 years old son. You have to say 5-year-old son. Okay, so whereas you would say her son is 5 years old, then you don't need hyphens. If you put the age after the noun, then you don't need the hyphen and you put the years. Count and non-count nouns. I bought a chair. Sam bought 3 chairs. We bought some furniture. Chair is a count noun because chairs are items that can be counted. Furniture is a non-count noun. In grammar, furniture cannot be counted. That means that you can't say furnitures, okay? You can say chairs, but you can't say furnitures. So a non-count noun is a noun that cannot be made plural. And so that's a very common mistake with non-native speakers, is they don't know the difference between I have a lot of furnitures. And then as soon as you say that, everybody knows you're not from the United States. So you want to make sure you know the difference between a count noun and a non-count noun. So I'll repeat it again. A non-count noun cannot be made plural. Therefore, a non-count noun is always singular. So when you have furniture is old, you can't say furnitures are old. Okay, so furniture in subject-verb agreement always takes a singular verb. And so here, furniture, some furniture, a lot of furniture, much furniture. You cannot say one furniture. You cannot say many furniture, because when you say one and many, that's only used with count nouns. If you're going to use it for a non-count noun, you have to say some, a lot of, and much. Those are the quantifiers that we use with non-count nouns. So here's some more examples of nouns that cannot be made plural. I bought some. So first here you have some countable nouns. So count nouns are countable nouns. Nouns that you can count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Many chairs, many tables, many desks. But I bought some furniture. You can't say I bought one furniture, two furnitures. However, you can say I bought one piece of furniture, two pieces of furniture, because the word pieces is countable. So in order to make a non-count noun countable, you have to put a quantifier in front of it. So anyway, I bought some furniture. I bought some pieces of furniture. Then you can make it then you can make it plural. I put some sugar in my coffee. So if I say I put some cups of sugar or spoons of sugar, that's how you make sugar countable. Otherwise, you can't say I put many sugars in my coffees. So both coffee and sugar are non-count nouns. However, you could say cups of coffee, but you can't say I have many coffees. Sunshine is also a non-count noun. So you cannot say there's many sunshines. You can say there's many rays of sunshine, that sort of thing. So that once again, you have to make it countable. You make the non-count noun countable by adding a quantifier. So here you would say, Anne has brown hair. Tom has a hair on his head. I opened the curtains and let in some light. And so light is a non-count noun and cannot be made cannot be made plural. So many nouns can be used as either. It depends on the context. So here are some examples of common. Let's see. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Oh, that's about as big as it gets. Okay. All right. So some common non-count nouns. This list is a sample of nouns that are commonly used as non-count nouns. Many other nouns can also be used as non-count nouns. So whole groups made up of similar items are non-count nouns. Baggage, clothing, equipment, food, fruit, furniture, garbage, hardware, jewelry, junk, luggage, machinery, mail, makeup, money, cash, change, postage, scenery, traffic, fluids, water, coffee, tea, milk, oil, soup, gasoline, blood, solids, ice, bread, butter, cheese, meat, gold, iron, silver, glass, paper, wood, cotton, wool, gases, steam, air, oxygen, nitrogen, smoke, smog, pollution, particles, rice, chair, corn, dirt, dust, flour, grass, hair, pepper, salt, sand, sugar, and wheat. Also, abstractions can also be non-count nouns. Beauty, confidence, courage, education, enjoyment, fun, happiness, health, help, honesty, hospitality, importance, intelligence, justice, knowledge, laughter, luck, music, patience, peace, pride, progress, recreation, significance, sleep, truth, violence, wealth, advice, information, news, evidence, proof, time, space, energy, homework, work, grammar, slang, vocabulary are all abstractions and therefore are all non-count nouns that take singular verbs. Languages, Arabic, Chinese, English, Spanish, fields of study, chemistry, engineering, history, literature, mathematics, psychology. Recreation, baseball, soccer, tennis, chess, bridge, poker. Those are all non-count nouns. And also driving, studying, swimming, traveling, walking are all non-count nouns, and they are also called gerunds. Natural phenomenon are also non-count nouns. Weather, dew, fog, hail, heat, humidity, lightning, rain, sleet, snow, thunder, wind, darkness, light, sunshine, electricity, fire, and gravity are all non-count nouns that take a singular verb and cannot be made plural. So you just have to know all of that. And usually things that are names of groups are non-count nouns. Now, for a lot of foreign students, not so much for native speakers, they have trouble with knowing when to use the indefinite article a and the definite article the, and when do you use that. So usually we use a book or one book, a meaning one. So I read a book, meaning I read one book. Or you want to make generalizations. A banana is yellow. Or you can make it a plural count noun. Bananas are yellow, as in all bananas in general are yellow. Fruit is good for you. So notice that when you have fruit, fruit is a non-count noun, and therefore fruit is the name of a category. So usually names of categories are non-count nouns. So fruit is good for you, non-count noun always takes a singular subject. Then I ate a banana means I ate one banana. I ate some bananas, meaning that I ate 2 or 3 or 4. It's not clear how many bananas I ate. I ate some fruit, and not clear how much fruit I ate either. Using definite nouns meaning that it's a particular. I ate the banana. The meaning it's something that's very, very particular. So thank you for the bananas, thank you for the banana, and thank you for the fruit. So you're thanking someone for a particular gift or a particular item. Then you would use definite nouns. So let me repeat. A definite noun is the, and an indefinite noun is a and an and some. Okay, those are all known as indefinite nouns. The teacher made an appointment. That means she made one appointment. I saw a bird. So these are all indefinite because you don't know how long it was. I saw some birds. That means I saw more than one, 2 or 3 or 4 birds. I had an accident because there's no S over here. So when here you tell the difference between a and an is that if it's singular, okay, and one, we will use a and an. If it's plural, we will use some because that means 2 or 3. So that's how you do this particular exercise. However, every time you have a non-count noun, it's always singular. So I had an accident. And another thing is N goes with vowels, A goes with a consonant. So if a word starts with a vowel, you would use an, and if the word starts with a consonant, then you would use a. So the teacher made an announcement. I saw one bird, a bird. You don't say I saw an bird, okay? Because that's only if this word was started with a vowel, like eagle. So I could say I saw an eagle, okay? I had an accident because an is used in front of a vowel. And then there's no S over here, so you know that it's just one accident. I have some homework to do tonight. Here, you know homework is a non-count noun, okay? And so you don't say an, and you can't use a and an in front of a non-count noun because then you're counting it. There is a table in the room. There is some furniture in the room. There are some chairs in the room. My father gave me some advice. Sonia is carrying a suitcase. So when you have a non-count noun, you use some, and when you have a count noun, you use a and an, because a and an are used for countable nouns, while some, a lot of, few. In other words, it doesn't say exactly how many numbers. That's used for non-count nouns because non-count nouns cannot be made plural. So that's why it's important to understand the difference. See, I went to my grandfather's house and I bought an apple because apple is a countable noun, but bread is a non-count noun, so you use some. Let's see, what else is there to learn? Oh, general guidelines for article usage. The sun is bright today. Please hand this book to the teacher. Please open the door. Omar is in the kitchen. Use the when you know or assume that your listener is familiar with and thinking about the same specific thing or person you are talking about. And use the for the second mention of an indefinite pronoun. Yesterday I saw some dogs. The dogs were chasing a cat. The cat was chasing a mouse. The mouse ran into the hole. The hole was very small. So every time you're going to mention the same subject again, you would use the. Do not use the with a plural count noun, apples, or a non-count noun, gold, when you are making a generalization. Apples are my favorite fruit. So it's incorrect to say, the apples are my favorite fruit. Gold is a metal. And we don't say, the gold is a metal. This is a very ESL mistake. Usually native speakers do not make this kind of definite article and indefinite article mistakes. But I hear this all the time from English language learners. So I drove a car. That means I drove one car. I drove the car. I drove that car. I drove Jim's car. And it's incorrect to just say I drove car. A singular count noun is preceded by a marker. A, an, the, this, that, or a possessive, my Jim's. In some languages, it's okay to say je conduis voiture or whatever. I drove a car. But in English, you have to put in a. But in other languages, you don't always have to. So here, you'd better have a good reason for being late. Did you think the reason Mike gave for being late was believable? Not really. Where's my blue shirt? It's in the washing machine. That's okay. I can wear a different shirt. I wish we had a washing machine. So do I. It would make it easier to do our laundry. Can you repair my car for me? What's wrong with it? The radiator has a leak and one of the windshield wipers doesn't work. Can you show me where the leak is? So basically, when you are pointing to a specific subject that the speaker already knows about, we use the. If we're counting, then we use a or an. So that's the difference. Here, Jim likes to wear a hat or many hats. The hat is an article of clothing. Hats, nothing here. Hats are articles of clothing. The brown hat on that hook over there belongs to Mark. Everyone has some problems in life. You don't have to say in the life. My grandfather had a long life. This book is about the life of Helen Keller. Tommy wants to be an engineer when he grows up. The Brooklyn Bridge was designed by an engineer, in other words, one engineer. John Roebling is the name of the engineer who designed the Brooklyn Bridge. He died in 1869 from an infection before the bridge was completed. Here you don't need anything. People wear jewelry to make themselves more attractive. The jewelry Diana is wearing today is beautiful. So it's very easy to do article usage if you use the, if the speaker knows what you're referring to, and then you use a and an to refer to countable nouns that you can count. So I won't do any more because I'll probably bore you silly. Okay, here when you have a, this is a count noun. So when you have a count noun, that means a countable noun. That means I could say 1 letters, 2 letters, 3 letters, 4 letters, 5 letters. So I received 2 letters. I received a couple of letters. I received both letters. I received several letters. I received a lot of letters. I received some letters. So you can use I received a few letters. A little letters? No. We wouldn't say a little because that goes with over here, mail. It's not, in other words, anything that's not countable, we cannot use. So we always use words here that's countable for countable nouns. Whereas when we have a non-count noun, like mail, we don't say, I received 2 mail. So you can't use a. You can't say, I received a couple of mail, because mail is a non-count noun, And you cannot say I have 1 mail, 2 mail, 3 mail, 4 mail, because you have to say I have 1 piece of mail, 2 pieces of mail. You have to put in a quantifier. So you can't say I received 2 mail. You can't say a couple of. You can't say both. You can't say several. Okay, you can say some. Okay, you can say some because some is used in front of non-count nouns because it's not counting it. It's just saying a certain amount without exactly counting it. I received a lot of mail. Same thing. It's saying some, anything that says some mail, some furniture, and it's not saying an exact number, then you can use that in front of a non-count noun. I received plenty of mail. I received too many mail. Many implies 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Therefore, that's not correct. Many is always used with count nouns. I received a number of mail. No, because a number of mail means you can say a number. A number of mail is also used with, that just doesn't sound right. I received a great deal of mail. Okay, that as long as you're not exactly counting it, you can use that in front of a non-count noun. All right, expressions of quantity. An expression of quantity may precede a noun. Some expressions of quantity are used only with count nouns, and some are only used with non-count nouns. And some expressions of quantity are used with both count and non-count nouns. So you can say, for countable nouns, I could say 1 apple, 2 apples, 3 apples, 4 apples. Each apple, so 1, each, and every are used with count nouns. 2, both, a couple of, a few, several, many, and that's why I was right, a number of apples. That you can use with count nouns. So this is why when I was back here with mail, you can't say a number of mail. I knew that wasn't right. I was like, that doesn't sound right. That's because a number of goes back to I received a number of letters. Yes, that's correct, because you're counting how many letters you received. So certain expressions of quantity, that's what these are. These are all expressions of quantity. So if you have an expression of quantity that denotes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you use that in front of a count noun. If you have an expression of quantity that denotes some or certain amount without saying a number, then you could use that in front of a non-count noun, because a non-count noun is not countable. And you cannot say 1 mail, 2 mail. So it's just not, that's why they call it a non-countable noun. And so 2 apples, both apples, a couple of apples, a few apples, several apples, many apples, a number of apples. So this is all for count nouns. Now for non-count nouns like rice, you can say a little rice, much rice, a great deal of rice. A little furniture, much furniture, a great deal of furniture. A little fruit, much fruit, a great deal of fruit. Those are all non-count nouns. And so a little, much, and a great deal of is always used in front of non-count nouns, whereas many, several, a few, that's always used with count nouns. That's really important to understand, because you can't say I have many fruit. Okay, that's not correct, because fruit is countable. So you always have to know the difference. What is a count noun and what is a countable noun? And you just, in some cases, you just have to memorize which is a count noun and which is a count noun and which is a non-count noun. Now, native speakers can usually hear the difference, and they can hear that something doesn't sound right, and that's how they fix it. But for ELL or ESL learners, you don't have that ability. You simply have to just memorize, okay, this is a count noun and I can count it, and then these are non-count nouns, I cannot count it, and it's always singular when in subject-verb agreement, always singular. Whereas these, no, some, a lot of, plenty of, most, and all can be used with both, depending on, so you can say no apples, no rice, some apples, some rice, a lot of apples, a lot of rice, plenty of apples, plenty of rice, most apples, most rice, all apples, all rice. So let's do this again now that we've gone over the rules. Jake has 3 homework? No, because homework is a non-count noun. Jake has several homework? No, because several is used with count nouns. Jake has some homework? Correct, because that's used with non-count, since this is a non-count noun. Jake has a lot of homework. That's correct. Too much homework? That's correct. Too many homework? No, because we always use many with non-count nouns. Jake has a little homework. That's correct. Now you have a countable noun. Isabel has 3 assignments. Correct. Several assignments. Correct. Some assignments. Okay, that's correct. A lot of assignments. Correct. Too much assignments? No, because much is always used with non-count nouns. She has too many assignments. That's correct. Isabel has a few assignments. That's correct. Isabel has a little assignments. Not correct. A little goes with Jake. Jake has a little homework. So a little always goes with non-count nouns. Isabel has a number of assignments. Correct, because you're counting it. Isabel has a great deal of assignments. Great deal can go with both, so a great deal of assignments, that's okay. Isabel has hardly any assignments. Usually you would write Jake has hardly any. I would say hardly any goes with homework, but you could say hardly any. It just sounds kind of strange. So I would put hardly any with non-count nouns. No can be used with both. Jake has no homework. Isabel has no assignments. So here you have more practice. For instance, I wouldn't say I have gotten many mail. I would say I haven't gotten much mail. I don't get many letters. You don't say I don't get much letters or any letters. So let's go back to using a few, a little, and little. So she has only been here only 2 weeks, but she has already made a few friends. So a few is used with countable nouns. That means that she made some friends. I'm very pleased. I've been able to save a little money for this month. Positive idea. I have saved some money instead of spending all of it. And so if you have a few is used with count nouns, and a little is used with non-count nouns, money. Few. I feel sorry for her. She has very few friends. Negative idea. That means she does not have many friends. So if we say a few, that's positive. If I take out the a and just says she has few friends, that means she has very little friends, which means she almost has no friends at all. So if you put an a in front of it, that's a good thing. If you take out the a, then it becomes negative. I have very little money. That means I have no money whatsoever. So when you take away the a, then it becomes negative. If you put the a in there, it's positive. So if I say I have a few friends, that means I have 5 or 6 or 7 friends. If I say I have few friends without the a, that means no, I have no friends at all, okay, or almost no friends. So putting in the a makes it sound positive. Using of. A lot of books are paperbacks. A lot of my books are paperbacks. A lot books are paperbacks. Some expressions of quantity, such as a lot of, always contains of. Many of my books are paperbacks. Many my books are paperbacks. So you always have to say many of my books. You can't say many of books. You can't say many my books. And you can't say a lot books. You have to say a lot of books, a lot of, many of, and many books. So group 1, expressions of quantity that always contains of. A lot of, lots of, a number of, a great deal of, a majority of, plenty of. So these expressions always take of. These expressions, sometimes you can use of, and sometimes you don't use of. All of the students in my class are here. All the students in my class are here. All students must have an ID card. All of students must have an ID card. So when a noun is specific, the students using of after all is optional. When a noun is not specific, of does not follow all as in. And every time you have one student, each student, every student, one of the students, each of the students, every one of the students, it always takes a singular verb. And so here, my classmates speak Arabic. So here you have to know when you can use of and when you can't use of. My classmates, all of my classmates speak Arabic. Most of my classmates speak Arabic. All of the people are friendly. One of the people are friendly. So that sort of thing. So it's just practice using these expressions. And if you're in doubt, you could just look it up and see which one of them. So you just have to memorize as certain expressions always take of. And that was over here. Yeah. And you just have to memorize that some that you always, yeah, here it is. Here it is, yeah. A lot of, lots of, a number of, a great deal of, a majority of, plenty of. You always have to have of in those sentences. Whereas here it's all optional. So you just have to memorize this, that those are the ones in which you always have to use of in the sentences. And that's it, okay? So that's all that you need to know about, and that's all you need to know about nouns. And I know it sounds so, confusing, but you'll get the hang of it once the more you read and the more you practice, the better you'll get at the grammar. So that's it for this particular video on nouns. So my next video is going to be about pronouns. So if you have any questions, feel free to email me.